What is an example of a shared goal across disciplines that you have each had a role in implementing for a person with Parkinson's disease?
So a lot of times people want to know, how do you share this goal? What is the kind of thought that goes behind what you're going to do for that patient? And I always say that's the easiest part. The patient is going to tell you what they want to do. They're going to tell you what kind of things Parkinson's has made difficult for them, or they're going to tell you things that Parkinson's has made them actually give up doing. And one patient in particular comes to mind, an older gentleman who had to give a very important speech, and he was very nervous about it. Of course, you can think about having that lower, softer, more quiet voice, having to stand up in front of a group of people, perhaps with the tremor. He was concerned about his posture. He was worried about how he would even look getting to the podium. And even prior to that, he confided to all of us that, even coming up with what was he going to write down? How was he going to get his thoughts from his mind onto the paper? Was something that was really scary for him. And I think the three of us really jumped on this because to us, this was such an easy goal. And it was something that we could all take part in and really help to get him to what he needed to do. And the beauty, again, of having the interdisciplinary care is that you're also having those patients with a lot of repetition, right? The 4 times a week for 4 weeks, you really get to see how that patient is developing, and you can really tweak things and change them depending on how they're presenting. So from my standpoint, his goal was really to look and feel confident when he walked from where he was seated up to the podium, and to be able to kind of position himself comfortably and confidently and in a nice tall way, and to be able to hold his hands how he needed to and stand there without feeling like he was going to lose his balance. And I'll let the other girls talk to you a little bit more about where their input came in through, also with the LSVT Big with Julia and the LSVT Loud with Meredith.
So it was great to be able to work on a team goal to have someone give a speech, a really important speech. And of course, it blended really very well in with what we were working on with LSVT Loud. And he had a great opportunity to practice it many times before he gave the actual speech. Of course, we worked on increased effort, increased amplitude, increased volume, keeping it loud, and confidence is really the piece I think that comes out of this therapy. The combination of the physical movements plus the communication piece, both together really on their own, they definitely do boost people's confidence, but together they make such a huge difference. And that was absolutely visible when this man was practicing and doing his thing and giving the speech.
So for this individual, when you think about giving a speech, he needed to both get his thoughts down on paper. He had goals as far as his handwriting performance, where he was having issues with micrographia, but then also he wanted to type his speech so that he had that in a form that was more readable when he was up. And, layered in with this, even though I think a lot of times people think, well, how can you incorporate any type of cognitive training? And with Big, a metacognitive strategy that I worked on with him was chunking the information. So really just going section by section of the information he needed to do. And each week that was what we practiced with his writing and with his typing. So we know early on even executive function can be an issue for people. So this wasn't something he had to do in the past as a strategy. It was really a new strategy for him. But we were able to use his big handwriting strategies, lined paper, work on writing an outline, and then transferring that into keyboarding skills and looking at the amplitude with his hands on his affected side versus his non-affected side, and helping him work through that whole process so that by the end he had his thoughts in a very concise, streamlined way, and in a way that he was able to type them and read them well.